Hey y'all, Papa King coming to y'all once again. Okay, so I was gonna keep y'all on, but I did want to speak about something, and I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be a very long video, but cover some key points and some aspects that most people forget about. You know, and this is regarding the conscious community, the pro-black Nuapian, I guess you would call them. Um, Certain people like that. Okay, so back in what what it is 2016, 20, I guess 2017, the moment that I decided to wake up, I guess, or if I spiritually awakened, or I had my first spiritual awakening. I think the process goes something like, oh, you kind of turn away from religious dogma. Um, you know, you you leave the churches alone, but then you find church as a negativity, but you go straight to headed back to getting the unks and upholding the divine feminine, the black divine feminine in such a high regard. I didn't do that. However, when I had my, you know, as I had my spiritual awakening, I did happen to purchase an ankh. But after that, I went straight to deities. I didn't, I was within more so the magic element of. When I finally decided to go and create change for myself, more so, using magic, using hoodoo, using, um, certain aspects of Ifa, candomblé, ATRs like that. I noticed that the friends that I had that were considered to be pro-black or like in the conscious community, I didn't always see exactly what was the problem with this community. Now, however, there are some things that I just really just don't vibe myself with, from now. But back then, it did kind of strike me odd, why are these people worried about people's sexuality? You know, well, why are they so dead set on these agendas? Why are they so weird? So finally, as I got deeper into study with spirit and um, I had my initiations, spiritual. Let me say that my spiritual initiation. You can say from 3 years. That crap is so out of whack. So out of whack because to me, the dangers in black consciousness nowadays, we have so many men and women that are really just unhealed. They focus on other people, they focus on this particular race and not others. And when it really comes down to it, if if I really had the chance to, I think I would ask them, wouldn't you think that as it being a distraction as well, race, color, creed, my friend that's on my personal Facebook page. He is so he's such a warrior. He is such a warrior, and oh my god, it is just bad. And some of the topics that they do bring up, I will not lie, it does raise questions. But that's about it. When it comes to the spiritual, however, some of us is going to divine. We're gonna go to spirit. Hell, some pull cowrie shell, some gonna pull cards, some gonna channel. Like Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, um, Dr. Phil Valentine. You know, these people were pioneers, for the generations before us, especially when it came to, I guess, the almighty knowledge. You know, the people after that, and they just happened to create. And this is just my personal opinion. I want to give a damn who don't like it, but it just seems like they create a little bit more problems than need be, and it actually trickles down to everyone else. Specifically, what caught my eye about not really just affiliating myself with the conscious community, it seems like everything was an agenda. Everything. Like, you mean to tell me everything was an agenda? Like the gay agenda. I, and I'm a gay male myself. So what does that make me look like as a black male already in a society where we are deemed so much worse than we really are? And you mean to tell me that we're being bashed by our own race? It kind of makes you think. That's neither here nor there though. But thank God and Goddess that some of us are actually moving past that. I think it is a process, especially when it comes to awakening. You do realize the worth of your the color of your skin. You get behind it. However, most people are very stuck with it. I'm gonna just be straight up and honest. Very stuck. Very, very stuck. And it's those feelings you get when you see them talk. Like, say for instance, something happened with the government. I'll use the, what do they call it, the shutdown. Now, to the naked eye, of course, there's something going on spiritually. Spirit governs all. But to the I guess the conscious guy, or the Nuapian, I guess, they will literally feel this as it being a distraction for the government to keep us more more indoctrinated than anything. And that's a bad way to be, especially if you're viewing society like be around them. You know, Thi- and I can understand, hell, different. I'll say the least. But then again, it's really not about looks. Of course, consciousness or woke phase that everybody happens to be connected to is always is always pointing out the fact that some people aren't really strong suited in thinking. Some people just really aren't strong suited in thinking. And when it comes to spirit, it's a little bit more different for them. They don't get it unless it's Ma'at, unless it's Heru or Isis or set, things of that nature. And it gets confusing because they would be the ones to tell you that we need togetherness or we need to get our culture back to where it needs to be. How? When sometimes the conscious community are the main ones that are creating the problems with so much fear mongering and a lot of it become the people that have really influenced, I guess, like Dr. Umar Johnson and Young Pharaoh. It's just it's been a mess. Let's just say it's just been a mess, and some people really just don't show it in a good light. You know, in a hindsight, we think about what's the guy name that went on the internet? Something about the child, Nature Boy. There you go, Nature Boy. It's crazy, and I would never be in such a state of where it is now. And let me also say that the spiritual community is not exempt. Let me just throw that out there. The spiritual community is not exempt. They have they way of covering from religious dogma. It's a mess. Period. But I think for the next person that's coming into their own when it comes to, just mentally, physically, and maybe even spiritually, to just avoid black consciousness when it comes to like a mindset, because some of it became, can become more so like a beehive mentality from what I feel, and sometimes it's not always good, especially if we are expecting progress. It's not really healthy. It's not really healthy, and that really just made me think because there was a guy speaking earlier about how the people that have been saying these same things I guess in that particular community has been since the golden age of hip hop. Okay, so like KRS-One, um, uh, De La Soul, you know, um, who else? KMD, like that. It comes from that era, but if you guys ever pay attention, where has the state of our culture or who we are has really gone since then? And most people can say it went even worse. Let's just be honest. But in a society that we're in now, with the internet, with the World Wide Web, we can expect some of these things to be regurgitated. Rightfully so. I mean, knowledge is knowledge, but at the same time, what exactly are you doing with this knowledge? You know, it's crazy, very crazy. So I feel that honestly, if we were to grow I guess a black society or even a race, we really need to reevaluate some of the things that have we've been trying to reestablish, and just think about some ones that we had on the European side of things. Uh, the Moors were very, very spiritual, but it just seems like that they're only pointing out the fact that if it's black, and if they're so, you know, it's just a bad trend right now, and unfortunately, it seems like I kind of woke. It seems like I kind of woke up around that 13, 14. So from 26 going on 27, you can imagine the things that I've seen when it comes to people just being black, I guess. You know, this trend is so distasteful. I skipped over that conscious phase. Stay woke. How about, were you ever sleep in the first place? It's just it's just weird. Like, we're just in a very weird state right now. Ye are gods, right? You know, this wasn't a rant. It was just more so like, I just don't really understand exactly how that community kind of evolved itself, you know, and a couple people that rub me wrong when it comes to certain topics. I, and everybody has their opinion, just like assholes. You know, it's cool, but once we really think about in it long term, how is it going to help us? You know, but then I'm using the candles that I need to. I'm using the spiritual abilities that was gifted to me. You know, so I don't know. Maybe it's just ego, as we all would point out, and some are very inflated. But it just made me think, like, I think that will be one of the pitfalls to really just avoid, you know, consciousness, the black consciousness. Like now, Beyonce was a part of this trend, with the Super Bowl performance, get information, the video with that. Um, there's nothing wrong with embracing the color that you are. Because coming from Louisiana as a 26-year-old male, having indigenous blood in me, having Creole, Jamaican, Haitian in my, running through the course of my veins, it gives me great pride. But now, as I'm seeing in a viewpoint, as other people are, they just, it's really going down, really. And some of, I guess, us are really showing exactly where we're lacking when it comes to growth, or when we're comparing us to others, quote unquote. You know, I was always taught it really doesn't matter about the color of your skin, of course. And at the end of the day, it doesn't. You know, that's a distraction. That is a complete distraction. So while you worried about what the white man and the white devil and these races and what they did when we were captured is doing, you should pay attention exactly where your mind, your spirit, your body, and your ancestors are. That's just how I feel. I'm gonna leave it at that. For a general reading, you can email me at Papa Kenny So Suave 20 at gmail.com. I thank y'all for watching. Till next time. Bye.